wipe my way on here. You guys from the Spilkish and the Connecticut Zone. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Wow. Special time, as you can see, special day, Saturday, 12 o'clock, noon. We wanted to give you an opportunity to be able to disseminate the information that we are about to lay on you. We are about to grace you with, okay? Because a lot of people were like, well, you just give us like 15 minutes to be able to take all that information and put it to use on FanDuel, on DraftKings, on our various wagering sites. Well, guess what? We're here for you. We heard you. We heard your criticism. We heard your wants and needs. And if anything, we are accommodating. Is that not correct, gentlemen?
I think we're accommodating.
I hope so.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And
my core four is not accommodating apparently from last week, but we'll get to that.
We also have a new setup here, seated across from me, matriculating on your screen from left to right, drinking Dunkin' Donuts. It's kind of coming out of his pores today. Matty DeMaz Maseracchio.
What's up?
And Johnny Autobahn.
Let's go.
Johnny Autobahn, I like it. I love it. I really do. I can't get enough of it. How you guys doing?
Johnny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, man.
I asked the questions around here.
All right, well,
everybody's all right. Everybody's good.
With my
Everybody did okay last week. I mean, I know we weren't on last week.
Yeah, I was in Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica. Yeah, I know.
Me and my wife. We had
taking your 14th vacation of the year.
No, not. It's only 12.
It's only 12.
It's only 12 so far. But no, we had a great time. But again, glad to be back, ready to go. We got football to talk about, and I have a little redemption that I need to apparently take care of because my core four last night sucked cheese. All right, last week. So
last week,
2 for 2.
So
2 for 4.
I got 2 of the 4. Listen, you can't be right all the time.
He's just terrible.
Here's what I do: the reason why I'm wrong sometimes is to make the other experts feel good about themselves.
Sandbagging.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, because if I was 100%, I mean, why would we even have to do this? So
Sandbagger.
It's my goal to be 80% right, 70% of the time. That's my goal. So
50% of the time it works all the
that's
time.
Yogi Berra math right there. Had to get a little baseball reference. By the way, we have baseball playoffs going on right now. Anybody watching baseball besides me?
No.
No? Great. Okay, so, yeah. Next.
It's like watching
baseball.
Playoffs.
There's still
right
baseball?
Now. The Marlins almost went far.
Let me tell you something.
Are they out already?
The Phillies smacked them in 2 games.
Well, even worse, the news went from bad to worse because we just got news yesterday that Sandy Alcantara, the Marlins ace, had to have Tommy John surgery.
Well, there was a reason why he fell off so bad from
Right.
Cy Young the year before.
Right,
At one point this
exactly.
year, his ERA was close to 5.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just, that's not him.
Well, listen, credit the kid. He was tough.
Yeah.
He made it work. Hopefully what this is a situation that when we come back in 2025 with him, with some of these young gun arms that they have under contract
They
for
have
the
a
next
lot of
3 or
young
4
pitching
years.
that they've had.
2025, everybody's looking to, we made the playoffs this year. Well, maybe we'll make the playoffs next year too. Who knows? They're getting pretty good at it. I'm a big Skip Schumacher fan. Great manager. All you got to do is look at the Cardinals and the precipitous drop of the Cardinals after he left as their bench manager.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Cardinals couldn't get out of their own friggin' way. And if anything, they had better personnel than they had last year when Skip was there. So, could be, I don't know, maybe Skip Schumacher was the difference maker out there. Well, guess what? He's a difference maker in Miami. But enough about baseball.
We can never have enough baseball. But
Listen, baseball stopped the minute that the Hall of Fame game kickoff. That's when baseball stopped. Boom, baseball stopped.
Disagree, but I'll agree to disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
Football, I guess we'll talk about football.
Yes, stick to one cult sport at a time.
You know, we briefly alluded, we had some coaching discussions before the show, so I think our Kick Rocks segment today that we're going to start off with is going to be a question that may be getting a little bit more clear as time goes on now, certainly this year and over the last several years, since the departure of one famous quarterback, Tom Brady. Belichick and Carroll. Okay, now it's easy to say Belichick is a better coach, right? All the championships.
It's not.
Obviously the dynasty, the domination in the division. I mean, for years, right? It wasn't just a 3 or 4 year run. It was like, 12, 13 years of just dominance. But I'll say this, minus Tom Brady, Belichick's record as a career head coach is 63-75.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Right?
It's not good at all.
And it seems like it's not getting any closer. Like the gap's not getting closer.
No.
It seems like
It's getting further.
Yeah, I mean, based on their team
Yes.
this year, based on the team last year, They're last in explosive plays. Mac Jones at times looks lost. They don't have any real weapons on the offensive side that, teams are lining up and going, wow, this is going to be a challenge today. The Patriots have had 23 draft picks over the last 2 seasons. And, again, not going through name by name and see if guys are on the team or not, but that's a lot of picks.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm not really seeing that translate to winning on the field. Now, you look at Carroll's career record, 164 and 113. That's pretty good, right?
I'll take that as a head coach, no doubt.
Guy was a phenomenal college football coach, right? Jumped to the pros. What I like about Carroll is that it seems like in Seattle, since he's been there since I think 2010 was the first year, he's had to reinvent that team several times, starting out with Hasselbeck and who was the other quarterback? I think it was Whitehurst maybe when they first got there. Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
That's who he had as a quarterback when he first got there.
Wait, who? But Belichick?
No, Carroll. I'm over to Seattle
Carroll?
now. Yeah. It was Hasselbeck and Whitehurst. Those were his quarterbacks when he first got there.
Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah, until Russell Wilson came along. So
and Matt Flynn.
he won with
Talking about
Hasselbeck.
Mr. Flynn. That's right.
He had a young defense with the Legion of Boom and a young Russell Wilson. He won with them.
Right. That was 1 year.
Well, again, but over a period of years,
Right.
They were
then
pretty
Hasselbeck
good.
retired because he was in like his 18th season.
Okay, but still, my point is that it hasn't been everybody get on the train. We're going to go down this set of tracks. We're going to run our offense this way. It's been always an evolution of change. Carroll leaned on the defense with the Legion of Boom for a while. What a young Russell Wilson. Then when it was let Russell cook, then Russell cooked, I guess, for a year or two. And again, they were still viable. Then he recognizes the fact that, you know what, there's some issues going on here at Russell. We can agree to that, right? I mean, the move to Denver, everybody assumed Peyton and Russell, marriage made in heaven, they're going to start winning.
His wife is hot.
Yeah, not happening, right? So, and now you got Geno Smith, who last year, again, everybody was surprised by Seattle's success.
Yep.
And this year, I mean, it seems like they're in a pretty good spot as well.
Still successful.
So again, when you're lining up these 2 coaches, you're looking at several bodies of work with Carroll of success, and you have a basic blueprint with Belichick, which was get the coach right, get the quarterback right, you win. And that's basically today's NFL blueprint, all right? If you get those 2 right, a.k.a. Chiefs, because you got, obviously, head coach there, and you had Patrick Mahomes. So that's the recipe for success in the NFL. And Belichick, again, is he still searching for that quarterback? Because Mac Jones is really not the answer.
He's searching for any weapon possible. I mean, listen, we can lay the blame on Mac here if you want, but at the end of the day, the guy isn't throwing to anybody. I mean, I think he's better than he is being portrayed, but they need to go out there and get him some real weapons to find out what you have. Nobody on that offense scares you. Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, it's inescapable, and for all of those people out there who were all those Dolphin fans that were wringing their hands because Mike Gesicki ran to New England to get paid, where's Mikey? Where is Mikey? He's been invisible through 4 games. He's been invisible. He hasn't done anything. No lame gritty, no lame white boy gritty, none of that. He's been invisible. I mean, you would have figured the Miami game, they would have dedicated 10 targets.
Yeah.
2 targets. They didn't care because Belichick doesn't care.
You know what? I mean, you could easily say that, okay, well, again, the Patriots have put their best foot forward. They've gone to the draft. They'll go back to the draft this year. I know last year's draft, everybody said wasn't as good. There wasn't, as much talent. Maybe as you got past in the 2nd or 3rd round, you were really, kind of reaching for guys. This year, not the case. They say that this draft is deep into the 5th round. So, again, you got a lot of options, a lot of players coming out next year that are going to be able to contribute right away. And
the NFL personnel is going to recycle next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players coming out.
I think Bill Belichick might be one of the greatest, not probably, he is one of the greatest defensive-minded or defensive coordinators out there. But as soon as he got a head coaching job in Cleveland, that is Cleveland. I will give him a little bit of a pass, but since Brady, I didn't check what his record is the last 3 years without him, but it's not winning. Well, I know that.
Listen, you can be certain of this. When he was in Cleveland and when he had Bernie Kosar as his quarterback, far more successful. They had very good defenses, and Bernie was carrying them, period. Okay, once again, he makes the transition, boom, eventually via the New York Jets to New England. When he makes that transition, let's remember his first year there, they were mediocre as hell. with Drew. Who was it? Drew. What's his face?
What are we talking about?
The Patriots.
First year, the guy that got hurt.
Oh, Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drew Bledsoe bad. He needed a transfusion. Yeah, Drew Bledsoe.
That opened the door for Tom, though. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that's what has to happen sometimes. But the problem is that again, this is very simple. If you don't get the quarterback position right, it really doesn't matter how good of a coach you are.
True that.
All right, and today, especially today's NFL, because today's NFL is quick and fast, and you got to be smart, and defenses are ever evolving and changing. And again, on the flip side of that, it's pro offense as well. So you can't hold a guy in the secondary anymore. Guys are, at least the Dolphins are to this point, which they may change next year. Everybody's moving, on the offensive side now, and they're allowing that to happen. So again,
Patriots are still playing dinosaur football.
It's an old school mentality where, again, there's some defensive coaches, and I'll say Tomlin is one of them. Sean Payton, maybe another one. All these guys that are the older style coaches that had a team that they set a game plan for. It was like 3 yards, cloud of dust, play good defense, make a play when you had to, not turn the ball over. Today's NFL, you got to score. You got to move the ball. You got to be creative. You got to be able to adjust.
Got to have a point guard.
But you got to have the ability to do that.
You got to have a point guard at that quarterback position.
And that will push over and lead us to our next kick rocks is.
We haven't decided whether we're kicking rocks or not.
I thought we're all kicking, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Well, not terms of kick rocks. The argument here basically is if you were going to have a coach that was going to lead your franchise for the next year, 1 year, okay, give them a clean slate of guys. Roster A, roster B, coach A, coach B. You doing Belichick or you doing Carroll?
Carroll.
Yeah, and I'm doing Carroll strictly because of the fact that they're both old. I mean, they're both 70. They're both 70, so you know that they're not going to be long-term guys, but they could work in the front office. So for me, Pete Carroll has made better personnel decisions. Okay, I mean, especially over the last 5-6 years.
There's a better connection with the players.
And a better connection with the players.
Yes,
He's a rah-rah guy.
That's not
He's
even
still a
close.
rah-rah guy.
It's not even close.
He's your crazy uncle that smokes weed at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay, he goes outside for the walk.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he only comes back to the backyard and has a couple of toes. All right, I got to go inside. And all of a sudden he pulls out, a bottle of scope and he's back inside with the adults. But he's also the guy that connects to the kids.
Yeah.
Connects with the youngsters. I mean, look what he did with DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Metcalf comes in, showing off his swaggy physique, shows up to his pre-draft interview or his pre-induction interview to the team, his introduction interview to the team without his shirt on. And what does Carroll do? Whips his shirt off. Okay, matches the kid's swag for swag.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why DK Metcalf will run through a brick wall for that guy.
Or playing quarterback last week or the week before, messing around in practice and stuff. I mean, those are the type of things that players get.
He connects with his players.
Exactly.
Young players better than anybody out there. Yeah.
So Belichick can kick rocks, and it's a total rock solid. Start your franchise over because Carroll can also set up the structure and also transition to the front office.
He drafts better too. Give him 23 draft picks over the last 2 years. What do you think Seattle is right now? They're on their way to winning something in a year or two.
Yeah.
They had 3 rookies on defense last night, and last year, 3 rookies, and they were all in the running for defensive rookie of the year.
Other than defense, I think he's a better coach all the way around. He just drafts better. He play a better GM. The defense,
he's more adaptable.
Yes,
he's more adaptable.
Yes.
Plus, I don't like Belichick. So how about that?
Yeah, well, nobody in this
you're
room likes Belichick.
preaching to the choir over here.
He's a
Gonzo.
douche. He's a douche.
Best thing that guy ever did was he let his dog draft a team one time. I mean, that was awesome having his dog sit in on the draft. That was great. But other than that, all right, next.
Next. Let's see. Another kick rocks. This is the popular one. I'm sure we're all Bears fans now, right? God, isn't he so good, Justin Fields? Last week, he threw over 300 yards.
Oh, now we're going to argue.
What he ran for, I don't know, 60, 70 yards. He looked like the old Justin Fields, right? But what is the old Justin Fields? The old Justin Fields is what we saw last week, a guy that basically can't read a defense, that can't complete a pass, but yet can make 3 or 4 pretty good explosive plays every game, which doesn't really lead to victories in the NFL. Because again,
he can read a defense.
I think he's 6 and 4,700 as a starter so far. So
4,700.
What we look for, though, and I'm gonna now go kind of the antithesis of what I just said.
Ooh, big
Yeah,
word
I know.
alert, big word alert.
I think I just spit on the mic too.
Sound like
but,
Mike Tyson.
antithesis. Yeah.
Listen, you're only allowed to say statistically
I know.
one time per show.
I didn't want to say it, but I committed, so I had to go all the way through the entire word.
We have a 4-syllable limit here.
I agree with that totally. I'll never say that word again, I promise you. So, Justin Fields, all right, we're enamored by this guy from a fantasy perspective because he puts up fantasy points. He runs as a quarterback. Again, they have those 2 or 3 explosive plays. Last week, they got in the end zone a couple times. Okay, that was the Justin Fields we saw last year. But sustainability for a guy that is leading your franchise, it comes down to wins and losses. So how much longer do we ride this fantasy train with Justin Fields, knowing that I think, that the time in that little hourglass is running out, okay? Next year's draft we talked about is really good. There's a lot of quarterbacks coming out, a lot of talent coming out next year. It's about as deep as a draft as they're saying that has been in quite some time. So teams, at what point does this new administration, Eberflus and whatever management such, looks at the situation and goes, you know what, we need to start looking towards the future again and looking at the position again because this is not working. Okay, 52% completion last week, as good as he looked. That's who he is. That's Justin Fields. Okay, and when you start to lose the ability to game script, because again, the Bears jumped out early last week, had a lead, they did it their way. What if he's got to run the field 80 yards, 3 minutes left in the game and get you a score? Or what if he's got to go toe for toe with a Mahomes or a Burrow or somebody else that's putting up points? Is he going to be able to do that at a 52% completion percentage? I don't think so.
I look at Justin Fields, especially the last 2 games, which they should have won both of those dang games. I don't know how the Broncos came back last week or 2 weeks ago, but
Sean Payton.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I see. For 2 weeks, they've let the training wheels off of him ever since he complained about possibly coaching or this, that, and the third. And in those 2 weeks, granted, you are correct, it's about 53% completion rating, which is horrible. But he's should have won one game and had a major lead and then wins this game coming in. Let's just say that this team wins 7 games this year, okay? Because we just looked at their schedule, and it's pretty fair that they could win 6 or 7 games for sure if they keep a roll like this. He has one weapon more right now,
Yeah.
and you saw what he did when they let him loose. Got 230 last night or the night before and 3 touchdowns. You get him one more piece like that, or like you mentioned, they don't have a running game. Put somebody back there that can take the pressure off, and maybe that does jump to 59 to 60%, and you have someone that can move and win some games. It's far off. I'm not jumping completely on the Justin Fields train over 2 good games, especially against those 2 opponents. But if this continues and he's throwing for 300, 290, running for 70, I mean, you're going to let that guy go for what possibly in the draft? I don't know. So I think Justin Fields can make it happen if you give him one more key piece, one more weapon. You might have a team there. Also, I don't like the coaching either over there, so maybe get that changed out as well. But I'm not off his train or on it. I'm kind of on and off, but give me 2 more games like this. You might have something going on here.
It would be foolish to give up on Justin Fields right now.
I think
foolish.
so. Yep.
Absolutely foolhardy foolish. Young man has shown that he has the brains for the game. The young man has shown that he is a leader. I can tell you for a fact that his little slip up in the press a couple of weeks ago, okay, you think that DJ Moore is in his ear every week all the time? I'm sure they're texting when they're not talking. Okay, I'm sure that DJ Moore is sitting on the stool next to him in the locker room. Okay, why? Because DJ Moore knows where the power lies. Okay, DJ Moore knows that he can sit there and talk to his position coach, and he can sit there and he can go into Eberflus's office and say, "Give me the damn ball." Okay, but the only guy who's going to have the weight to say, "I'm going to throw the ball to DJ Moore more often," is going to be his quarterback. Okay, we're talking about a pro here. We're talking about a guy who's been in the league for 6 years now, 5 years now. He knows how politics works. So first of all, I dismiss his little slip up in the press as DJ Moore in his ear. okay, as a veteran in his ear.
He was frustrated.
Yes.
He got asked a question,
Right.
and he got put in a corner.
So the game plan here going forward for the Bears should be further development, period. Okay, like you said, Johnny, they may go 7-10. Okay, they go 7-10, they could get into the bottom half of the top 10 as far as draft choices are concerned. And with that, you would pick another road grader offensive lineman. Okay, a kid that grades out good on both pass and run. Okay, go get a piece there. Make it a first and a second rounder, or go get a defensive player. Okay, but your priority on the offensive side of the ball should be to get another offensive line piece. That's for sure. If you see an extraordinary skill position player, whether it be a wide receiver or one of those tweener tight ends or whatever, because I think Cole Kmet is fantastic, but you have to commit to one more year of development. Okay, if there's a problem with the quarterback coach, which Eberflus is supposed to be a quarterback whisperer, right? Well, whisper.
Yeah, whisper.
Get to it, dude.
Well, don't whisper. Say it louder so he can
Yeah,
hear you.
stop whispering and start screaming in his ear.
Yeah, let's get it on paper and get it on the field.
Seriously.
It's not working.
So, but the kid is super talented. We've seen what he can be at his best. Okay, you want to get that more consistently. You need to, as sort of a little column A, a little column B.
All right, but what gets me, though, is that
what Johnny said is put more pieces around him, which I think all they need is one more piece.
All right, but guys, they did this in the offseason. They brought in pieces. Now they're kicking pieces off the team. Not only that, you have quarterbacks right now that are first-year stars in this league that you have already had a lot of wow moments about.
C.J. Stroud.
Okay, that's one of them, but there are several others that have come in year one, day one, and have made an impact. Justin Fields has been scuffling at times at best, okay, outside of the gaudy numbers because he can use his legs. This isn't – listen, he's a freak athlete, okay, and maybe at a different position you'd be able to see more of that. You know, if he actually had more touches like a running back, you'd see the explosiveness more consistently. Then you'd be really enamored. But that's not what the quarterback position is. The quarterback position is the quarterback. He runs the entire offense. He just doesn't get in the pocket 3 seconds, watch things break down, take off, and make a play with your legs. That's good at times, but that's not sustainable. And that's not how you win games because it's not working and it hasn't worked for Chicago.
Let's break a scenario down. There are two options here, right? You get rid of Fields and you possibly do find a Stroud. Or you get rid of Fields and you pick up a Zach Wilson. Now, would you rather have Zach or you want to have Fields? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
you have something that is pretty solid that you know is talented, and you're pretty much going to roll the dice, hoping that you get something better.
Today's NFL with the salaries and with the in terms of how these teams manage the money side of their organizations, it's not a bad thing to bring in rookie quarterbacks at this point, or even second-year guys that aren't making a ton of money, because they can then go out and pay the other position players to build the better team.
Sure.
Now,
just ask Caleb Williams. He's not going to come out of college because he's making too much money playing for USC.
Yeah, of course. He's getting a lot of money in his NIL
like, send me where I want to be, or I'm staying in L.A. So, yeah, listen, I understand this, but I can give you an immediate comp. And if they would have given up on him after a couple of years, we would not be talking about Lamar Jackson as being one of the highest paid quarterbacks and multiple-time MVPs. Okay, we wouldn't.
But he's gotten better.
They would have given up on him.
But Lamar Jackson got better.
Right.
This is a pretty good...
he also had a way better head coach.
Yes.
Harbaugh.
He had a better head coach. He had a better better offensive coordinator. Greg Romans was great for his development.
Okay, and environment matters. I agree with that. But
so you have to also build the environment around the kid.
But when you're
so
Knox,
cynical.
but when you're Knox as a quarterback,
he's so cynical.
Well, all right, let's give you an example. If you're a brain surgeon, all right, and you only have three
why
fingers,
do you got to go to brain surgery?
If you only had 3 fingers on each hand, you're limited, right? Okay, because you're missing a pinky, you're missing a thumb. Pretty important fingers, right? But yet you're still a brain surgeon, okay?
I can do a lot with these 3 fingers. Just ask all my ex-girlfriends.
You need all your fingers to be a brain surgeon, okay? You can be a pretty good brain surgeon with 3 fingers, but you need all your fingers to be a really good brain surgeon, okay? Justin Fields right now
as long as I can point.
is a quarterback with 3 fingers.
Oh, then bring in a plastic surgeon coach that can make the other 2. That's what I'm
Great, we're gonna
saying.
get emails from the one viewer we have that's missing fingers.
They need prosthetics for this poor kid, and it's
You
not
are
working.
a prosthetic.
My point is that, guys, is that there's a couple of big markers as a quarterback that you can say, okay, let's list them. Is he athletic? Yes. Check that box.
No.
Can he read a defense? Not really that great. Okay,
No.
check that box. Can he complete passes? What's his completion percentage? Pretty important in football, and he sucks there too.
He's just out of hand. He sucks there.
Wins and losses. Again, it's not just the quarterback. It's coaching. It's other players. It's strength of schedule. It's a whole bunch of stuff. But again, it's not even like he's a 500 quarterback. Okay? It's terrible. He's like at a
Terrible.
10 winning percentage. It's like
Tell us about it, Charles. He's
6
terrible.
and 27. Okay? Check that box. He sucks. So
Just out of hand. He
what
sucks.
what else are we debating at this point about Justin Fields? You got to win football games in the NFL.
Oh, you're so cynical.
So next, we've been ripping for 25
All right, so
minutes.
you-
Or 30 minutes on
So you want Justin Fields to kick rocks?
Justin Fields needs to kick rocks. Yeah.
Okay, and me and Johnny are
Rock
like,
solid.
Well, he's rock solid.
That's fine.
There's a future there.
Okay. There is
Okay.
a future there. It sure is.
Okay, so are we ready to take a break and you come back and give it another shot with your core 4? Maybe you'll get it right this
What are we
time.
going to do next? What do you
Another core 4 day.
Another core 4? Is that what you want to do on the
You
second
can core
segment?
fart my core 4 if you want to, but I'm coming back with a vengeance today. So yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
so
we're talking football. We got a few discussions about some teams that I feel that are in the lead right now in divisions that are pretenders.
Oh, for corn's sake.
We got a pretender.
All right, all right. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Maz's Core 4. Take notes, kids. Take notes. More Gonzo Radio Sports Desk right after this.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
We live a pie on our day. We live a pie on our day.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
We better get going. God knows what the team is doing with just Farmer Fran watching them.
Dios me está, va a bouger on the vie, quoi va wrong, et je réfléchis, on va bouger derrière.
Gonzo Radio. Live fine another day. Stony old do. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I just do that to give myself an edit point when I edit out the audio and I put it on SoundCloud. Which, by the way, once again, we are doing this special Saturday edition because we want to give you time to disseminate the information that we are passing along to you. Because some of you have contacted me and let me know how can I disseminate this information in 15 minutes after you're done with the podcast on Sunday morning. And then all of a sudden we got to go right into the 1 o'clock slate of games, and it's 12:40. So don't freak out. Take your notes. Take your time. You'll be okay. I promise. I swear. So now, and I'm going to make up a fancy graphic for this, but where we are getting into the Core 4. Could you explain to the nice people what exactly a Core 4 is?
Well, core 4 is DFS based, as we talk about week after week, is we try and put together a lineup that's going to give us the most fantasy points. The problem with that is that you can't just go and pick your best guys. So, or else everybody would be having the same lineup. So
Willy-nilly.
there's a salary structure and there's a salary cap for your team, and you're supposed to fit your players into that salary cap. So when I look at my core 4, what I try and do is find players that are going to exceed value, that are going to be at least, and I like to use a 3x multiplier. If you get 3x multiplier on your players, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, if your guy costs 8,000 and you're getting 24 points, you did really well.
Yeah, pretty simple
with that guy.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we established, at least through DraftKings, that the average cash line, let's see, that's where you need to make so many fantasy points to hit the cash line, is about 125.
I was going to say 120, but yeah, 120, 125.
Somewhere
if you're in that
between,
area.
now again, last week or the week before when the Dolphins went crazy, the scores were out of control. I've never seen the scores that high. That skews the total. But for a baseline, it's about 125. Now that puts it at about a 2.5 multiplier.
Yes.
So again, because on DK it's 50K for salary, maybe FanDuel same thing.
6,600 or 66,000 for
Whatever
FanDuel.
it is. So it all breaks out to be the same. So your multiplier that you're trying to get for cash games, for a consistent cash game cash or 50-50s, or 2.5 times multiplier, I'm going for 3x. So that's what my goal has been. Last week, not so good. I'm going to blame it on Jamaica. I was out of town. I was out of touch. I wasn't really focused
Me too,
like I
but I
should
was
have
at
been. But I'm blaming Johnny because I was in Jamaica. So, but this week we're not. This week we're in Coconut Creek, and we're in Deerfield, and we're in Lauderhill, and we're in LA, living everywhere. So
Pompano Beach. It's
Pompano
Pompano.
Beach.
It's Palm Air.
So, so basically, that when we set up a core 4, we're looking for guys that are going to blow value up. To me, it doesn't really matter what their price is. Okay, we can get 4 studs, we can get 4 value guys as long as they hit that multiplier. So, let's just go for it. In DK, last week,
Dun, 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 dun.
man, it was so bad.
Me too.
Let's see if I can find my
Fantasy
core
was
4.
horrible. Last
Take
week.
notes, people. Take notes.
We both got Brees Hall and Connor.
We do. We
excuse me.
agreed on the running back
That was
position this week.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Robert Salas has said that the training wheels are off for Brees Hall this week. What does that mean?
letting him go.
15 touches?
At
20
least
touches?
10 to 12. Yeah, at least.
We all know how bad Denver is, right?
Right. Well, before we go, I still, once again, I have to ask Dalvin Cook. Hey, how's that working out for you, by the
He
way?
got paid.
He
got paid.
Yeah, he got paid.
He got paid.
He got paid, and you'll get a chance to kick the tires and go play for somebody else. But I guess, you know what? It won't be in Miami.
Yeah.
That don't look good.
No,
He
there's-
doesn't look near the player that they were thinking that they were going to get.
Wash.
Yeah, something's going on there. But so basically, those two running back, well, Brees Hall, one of them. The other guy who you also agree on, James Conner.
Yes, big time.
That man got no love this year anywhere.
Get to the chopper.
I think he is right now the fifth or sixth running back in terms of fantasy points this year.
Top 7, I know that. Yeah, he's
consi-
really quietly
most
getting good.
consistent, and that's a guy that, again, we talked about. He was a 6th, 7th, 8th round pick in most drafts. He was probably slated as, if you were lucky, your RB2, bottom half, maybe an RB3 flex.
Yeah, really
spot.
not getting a lot of love at all.
Meanwhile, he's like a solid RB1 right now on a team that we all thought was really bad. So those two are definitely in my core 4 today. I like the matchups there. Connor gets in the end zone today. So now my receivers. I got one receiver. I got one tight end. The Lions are a little shorthanded today. Okay, I'm St. Brown probably not going to play. You know, they got him as a game time decision, I think,
He's
unless it's been
doubtful.
updated or but he's probably not playing. We can definitely check through tomorrow and see what the status is. But we talked about this kid, Sam Laporta, tight end. Man, he's made an impact already.
Yep.
So I can't imagine him not getting a better rep share, better offensive allotment tomorrow, more opportunities. That's what we're looking for in fantasy.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, can I take a moment to admit some stupidity? By
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, sure.
I drafted Sam Laporta late.
Maybe that was a
Late.
problem because you drafted his cousin
Late.
Laforta.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, everybody. Good night. We're done. Thank
That's
you.
for
Have a
picking up
nice
my
night.
core 4.
Never screw with the guy with the good looking,
Laforta.
okay?
All right, go
But
ahead.
anyway, I made the mistake of cutting him. He was on my bench as my backup tight end to Mark Andrews. I'm like, oh well, I'm never going to use him.
Right.
And I had to go pick up a running back because I was running back poor. and it just got worse.
Who's not running back poor right now with all the injuries and everything
my
else?
groceries. So,
My gosh.
I'm not perfect, but you know what? My teams are 2-2. It's okay.
Yeah. So
Now, proceed.
Sam Laporta, or as you like to call him,
Forta.
Sam Laporta,
That's how they pronounce it in
Right.
Italy.
whose quarterback is Jared Goff. Also very
knew
good. Also very good. Yeah, Goff. You get it? Where's my laugh, John? You're my sidekick here.
I'm
I'm
just
over
gonna
here
go
thinking
eat
about
some
which
crayons.
two other guys I'm going to pick for
Help
my
me
core
out,
four.
Laporta.
don't wanna
So,
I'll be right back after I'm done licking these windows.
so basically, I think that timeshare in that opportunity for Laporta in that offense today, Detroit's clearly favored in that game. They're going to score. So it's Laporta for me. And my fourth player, core four, who's a guy who's got so much talent. I just wish he was on a different team. Although this year they have a quarterback sort of kind of who I like, is Michael Pittman. Okay. Everybody's banging on that defense. Everybody's putting up all these points against that defense. But Pittman today, I think, in his opportunity, Richardson coming back, throw the ball, maybe get a touchdown. All these guys, what I looked for this week is I threw out the term regression. Regression simply is up and down towards a baseline. And a lot of these guys that I'm liking today have not gotten the end zone yet. And I'm thinking to myself, these are all good NFL players.
They're due.
They're due, and they're in plus spots.
Yes, they are.
So a guy like Hopkins I like today also doesn't have a touchdown yet. The guy's getting 9 targets a game. He has not gotten in the end zone yet. Okay, it's going to happen. Also a guy like Pittman, same thing, getting 9-10 targets a game. He's in a plus matchup today.
Target monster.
Going to get in the end zone. Okay, it's going to happen. So, and their prices really haven't reflected in terms of where I think their potential is, because these guys yet haven't popped, which means that their prices haven't started to increase. The algorithms haven't picked them up yet as being guys that need to raise their values on.
Yep.
So
Get
these
them on
guys are
Saturdays.
relatively inexpensive. Especially, I think Hall is like 5,400 on DK.
And he's only 65 on FanDuel.
I mean, it's
either way, I think he's a good
God,
play
these
today.
prices are really, really good, guys. So again, just go over it real quick for the core four. I've got Michael Pittman, Laporta, I've got Hall, and Connor. Those are my core four for DK.
I'm actually going to, as we said, Hall and Connor, are both of us feel like these guys could get 17 to 20 for you today for sure. I'm going to piggyback the St. Brown injury, and I'm going to go Reynolds. Now, Reynolds has been questionable the last 2 weeks, but he has played both of those weeks, and he has done fairly well. Now that he gets more targets, both of those guys are going to get way more targets, and I can guarantee you that they both are going to give you good fantasy points. Laporte is going to be good. Reynolds from Detroit will be good. And you know what? Let's piggyback the touchdown thing. Waddle has not had a Waddle game, and he's going against one of the worst defenses in football. They are pissed. I can guarantee you that Miami Dolphins team has been motivated all week after all the trash that we've had to hear about how the
Dolphins will
Buffalo
score
Bills beat us.
30-plus points
They're going to
today.
score 41, 44 points today. You can guarantee that whole entire roster is going to score up a touchdown. Waddle's got to have a game, man. I think the most yards he's had is 80 yards. This is very un-Waddle-like.
I know.
And just like you with the Hopkins, he's got to find the end zone at some point this year, and I think this is it.
Twice.
So, I could very well, he could have 24 points for you today for $6,800.
From your mouth to God's ears. I got him in one of my leagues, and he just, again, I took him as a wide receiver too, because I thought that was a good, solid pick. You would agree with that coming into the
Yes,
year?
absolutely.
Certainly.
A guy
Oh,
that
yeah.
can get 70 balls.
Why, you want to trade him?
8 touch. No. Again, if I've wrote him
Let
for
me know
this
if you
long, it's funny you say that, because that's one of the challenges that we're presented with is recency bias. We do it in fantasy. We do it in our season longs. If we get burnt by a particular player, it hurts.
drop him. Yeah,
right?
you're
It
right.
hurts. You're like, oh, I can't believe he's playing. And then you're like, oh, that guy sucks. And then you just trade him yourself. Okay, and the next week he goes and gets 2 touchdowns. How many times does that happen to us? Okay, we know who these players
This
are.
year?
That's why, again, I just said it. Regression, baseline. Find out who these guys are. Stick with what you think they are. Be consistent in your approach. And if a guy is a 7-touchdown guy for the season and he hasn't hit the end zone yet, unless there's been circumstances to prevent him, injuries, bad quarterback play, none of those apply at least to Waddle in this situation, right?
Yep.
So you have to think he's due, right? He's going to get in the end zone.
He's due.
So you start looking at the other factors, the matchups, again, weather, whatever your variables are that can affect the situation. When you line all those up and you're still plus, guess what? Waddle becomes a play. All right? He's a play. Now, in season long, you have no choice. He's a guy you're going to ride and die with.
No matter what,
And
yeah.
again, whatever happens, at least you know you made the right decision. But from a DFS perspective, because his price also hasn't risen. Okay, he is, I think, he's in the bottom 15 or top 15, 16 guys in terms of pricing.
Yep.
He gets in the end zone today, he crushes value, right?
And people might be asking, why wouldn't you pick Tyreek Hill? Well, just the same thing we're talking about pricing. He's 9,400.
He's the most expensive player on
really
the
think
slate.
he's going to
Yeah.
get 28 fantasy points today? I don't know about that.
3 times a year he will. But
Yes.
when do you want to be right when it's 3 times a year? It's tough. You know, that
Yep.
means you're
Right.
wrong the other 12
well,
times.
And listen, on most DFS sites, the reason why you get players that are $9,000 and higher rated is because you have a very large pool of players, of DFS players, who they just pick names. They're popular.
That
high
helps
usage.
too, and
I mean,
hurts.
it's just it's not a lot of brain power. It's not a lot of analytics. They just go, oh, I like that, and he's good,
Yeah.
and then at the end you're looking for a flex player at $3,000,
And you're struggling.
hard.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this is something that I really haven't talked much about, is in terms of strategy, in terms of how to be successful. It's not about just picking players. It's about money management. It's about getting into the right types of tournaments.
getting the right types of players.
We talked about what the minimum cash line is for DK, and it's about 125. Well, for tournaments, even single entry or the Millie Makers or all these other tournaments, that number jumps to about 146, 147. It's tough to get those points. So you got to finish in the top maybe 10, 11% in order to cash.
Sometimes even less than that.
Depending on the
Yeah.
tournament and field size, stuff
Yep.
like that. So
Yep.
when you're hitting on 6 players and missing on the other 2 because you spent $9,000 on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a GPP player, guaranteed price pool, which are the tournaments, because again, you're looking at players that have huge ceilings.
Yep.
But if you miss on a guy that you pay that much money for, and you're spending that much on a ceiling, and he doesn't get there, well, the other guys that you paid cheaply for, they better have big games.
Well, the
Because they're
perfect
gonna have to
example was 2
compensate.
weeks ago. Tyreek Hill against the Patriots. I think he only had like 11 fantasy points. He was $9,100.
If you
11
paid up for
fantasy
that,
points.
you're in trouble.
Thank God I
You're
had a
going the other
45
way.
pointer.
You're
on
in
there.
trouble.
You're going the other way for
Yeah.
value.
Now,
Yeah, that's crazy.
maybe today's Millie Maker lineup has Tyreek Hill in it if he does go for those 30 points. But what that guy had to do was he had to get 2 $4,000 guys that also were 3 and 4X.
Or 3 or 4
Yeah.
$5,500 players.
Whatever
that are
it
like,
is.
Yeah, but you
It's-
really got to come down on a
it's
lot of
tough.
things.
It's
Christian
back-
McCaffrey is 10 grand. You get him.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to like fill out the roster with other good players. I mean, it's amazing.
And he's not worth it value-wise. He's not worth it.
In today's NFL, it's about balance. And in today's landscape, you see the inconsistencies week to week. If the inconsistencies are on the field, we use that information. That's
Yes.
how we benefit. So
Yep.
if they're inconsistent, how are we supposed to be consistent?
Let me ask you, how much is Laporta on DK?
He was, I don't know the exact
In the
number.
4s or 5s?
Well, I don't know, but again, based on terms of where he was, I think he was the 4th or 5th price tight end.
So in FanDuel,
Behind
that
Kelsey,
would be like
behind Andrews, behind Hawkinson, behind somebody else, and he was like 5th or 6th.
if he's 6,200 on FanDuel or 6,300, I could absolutely, like today, these are types of games that you're like, one of their main receivers is out. This would be a good game to pick Laporta. He could
Bing,
have
bing,
18,
bing.
2 touchdowns and 70 yards. I could see it happening. I mean, it's
Now, he's
just-
going to be popular.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things to look at, like ownership value, stuff like that. But again, if my approach, when I'm giving you these core 4, it's cash game lineups.
Yep.
It's making money. It's putting $20 in, getting $20 out. Okay, and it's beating the guy next to you. That's the approach. It's 50-50. You got to be better than half the field. Okay, and by using the core 4, hopefully getting those values. If I get 3 of these 4 guys that are 3x plus,
yes.
again,
You've won. You're winning.
You're in a pretty good spot because again, as long as the rest of your lineup is viable, then you're probably going to get within that cash.
And that will happen. And actually, a lot of weeks. If you listen to a core 4, and me and him, for instance, we have 4 players. Most of the time, 3 of these guys are going to hit, and you might get a dud in one of them. But if you have 70 points or 65 points amongst 3 players, and the other guy gets you 7 or 8, the chip in happens every once in a while. You're still on the up and up. It's a lot of points between 3 or 4 guys. 60,
For
70
real.
fantasy points.
Yeah, 3x multiplier guys. That's what we're trying for.
Yep.
So
It's either that or just listen to Cynthia Freeland. I like watching her anyway. So I mean, she's much prettier than all three of us put together. So I mean, we got to listen to her.
There's a
right?
way to quantify that. You're exactly right.
That's true.
I want to say hello real quick to my daughter, just because I said I would. Hi, Bree. Thanks for watching.
Are you watching, Bree?
I think she
Are
is.
you watching?
Now, I'm sure she's not
I mean,
like this in her phone. She's probably in her
Are
phone.
you used to the smell?
But it's
I mean,
probably
really,
it's like she's probably got it over here somewhere. So
Oh,
Listening
okay.
in.
yeah. And my wife too. Hi, Diana.
Well, hi. Well, we know she's used to the smell.
Yeah.
Because she smells good enough for both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, so in summation now, Matt, your core four are.
I've got 2 running backs, Connor and Hall,
Yep.
Laporta, and Michael Pittman.
Mike Pittman.
Those
Okay.
are my core four.
And Johnny, you got.
Going with Hall, Connor, and Waddle, and Reynolds from Detroit.
And Reynolds. Okay.
Strong 4.
There you go. There's some very, very strong core four action there. Do with that what you will. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're going to cop a quick break, and we got a final segment coming up.
Yeah, we'll talk about some stuff. More football stuff.
More stuff.
Got some things on the other side.
got-
Ultimate professional preparation around here, I'm telling you.
We can start ranting. I got a rant.
We can rant all we
I got a
want.
rant.
Okay, well, we'll get to that rant right after this on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Haha. I bet you thought we were going with an actual break. That was actually the ender, and my idiotic behind is going to go ahead and put an actual break on. All right, we're back, and now I've purged all the stupid from my system. That was a very weird technical glitch, but I swear that's not the end. And don't worry, I'll edit it out. So we're back, and we're ready to take it home here. We might even keep this a tight hour. So we have a few games of the week. Is that what we're going to do here? We're going to do a little hot picks for you.
Well, we're just going to chat about basically where we are right now. It's the quarter pole in the NFL. 4 games done, 4 games in. We got a couple of I don't know if there's any like surprising stories in the NFL right now for the leaders. I'll run through them real quick. AFC leaders: Chiefs, Bill, Ravens. Okay, and we kind of could have picked that. That's pretty popular, right? People thought the Chiefs would win that division.
Boo.
People thought the Bills would win, even though I didn't. And the Ravens, again, that
You
division.
think the Ravens are better than the Dolphins right now?
No, I'm talking about in terms of division leaders.
Oh, division
These are
leaders.
division leaders right now that are basically at the quarter pole. These are the guys that would be hosting playoff games. This is the seeding, stuff like that. The Ravens, maybe a little bit of a surprise in that division. Everybody thought the Steelers would be good, except for me. They suck. The Bengals are done. There's too much noise in that clubhouse.
Done.
So the latest story is, what is this about? A fight between Chase and the coach? A little shoving match?
Frustration boiling over.
Wow, yeah. Well, winning fixes that, and they are in Arizona, who is a little bit over their head, I think, in terms of where they've been playing this year. Bengals are favored on the road in that game. Again, it comes down to Burrow's health. I mean,
You
that's
taking the 3
question
points
mark.
on that? You going to take the Bengals on that game? I'm not.
I picked Arizona, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
But again,
What's the spread?
3
it's
points
3.
Bengals way, man. I
They're
don't see
favored.
them winning this game at all.
first of all, the
Bengals
Bengals
-3.
the Bengals are not
On
6
the road.
points better than anybody. Right
Yeah,
now.
dude. Like, I don't know where are they getting this at. Like, Burrow can't throw the ball past 7 yards.
He's in trouble. But again, that's a discussion we can continue to have. Again, leaders right now, AFC leaders, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. The teams that are looking in that I think are viable in the AFC are Miami and potentially Cleveland, I'm still going to say, if Deshaun Watson comes back and is healthy. Again, don't know the situation with his shoulder. Then there's been some stuff being said in that locker room. I don't think that's totally a very good atmosphere, the best it can be in terms of for a football team. So there's question marks there, but based on talent, I think Miami and Cleveland are probably the other two teams in the AFC. So I think it's basically those 5 teams that we're going to be, I don't know, watching in January. You know, at least representing the AFC. I don't see any other team coming up and surprising us at this point, not at least in the AFC.
Well, let me ask you this then, based off of that. Do you think, I didn't think about this until we were talking earlier, the Colts are sitting at 2-2 right now, okay? And they're getting Taylor back soon.
We haven't gotten that division yet. That's the one division I didn't mention yet. Because that
Because
division on
they
both
could be
sides.
sneaky play. That's
Yeah.
a sneaky come up if he comes back and Taylor's Taylor. He's actually running and balling.
The key is as long as Richardson continues to get a little better. Okay.
I think he will, though.
He's limited too. He's limited in terms of, again, rookie quarterback.
Yeah, you got to give him a chance. Like, he's going to make his mistakes this year.
Yeah, and again, how costly will they be? It's difficult for a team with a rookie quarterback to go anywhere far in the playoffs, especially, again, in today's landscape where there are some teams we mentioned that, again, against those teams, those other teams are going to win 9 out of 10 times. The Chiefs are going to beat the Colts 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
the Bills are going to beat the Colts 9 out of 10 times. The Ravens probably 7 out of 10 times. So unless the Colts, again, maybe Jonathan Taylor is a little bit of a difference maker, okay, can get them a little bit better than what they are now. But, again, there's a reason why we're looking at the AFC South and going, who the hell is going to win that division? Because from week to week, one team looks better than the next.
It's just very true.
The Falcons, the Texans are making a little bit of noise. They're getting better. They're good up front on both sides, offense, defensive line. Texans are
Even
getting
the
it right.
Titans showed life last week. I mean, it's just, how do you,
That division's up for grabs.
But with Richardson, listen, if there's any positive about a situation where a young quarterback is injured, is that he got to sit on the sideline and he got to sit and watch Gardner Minshew do his thing. Okay, and I mean Minshew was fairly successful.
I was just
in
going to
his
say, play
start.
well.
I mean,
Yeah, but that
you know,
kid needs reps. That's the only way he gets better.
The kid needs
He's
reps,
gotta
but
be
you
on
know
the field.
what? We're talking about after 3 games where we face facts. The first game he looked lost and he reverted to his legs.
I got it.
Oh, he scored 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he ran to him because he was running for his life because he couldn't
He got
process.
He
the
got
speed.
an early mental bye week,
Right.
essentially. As He
Right.
got to reset. You
Yeah.
know, that I agree with. Yeah.
And now he's had a week off where he's been able to sit on the sideline and watch a pro go through his preparation and play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not have to worry about producing.
He's going to glean a
Yeah.
lot from that. So
Hopefully
I
it'll
expect
get
a
better.
progression out of Richardson for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
they're going to win that division.
Well, again, of those 6 teams right now, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Miami, Cleveland, and whoever comes out of the South, I mean, to me, I'm not going to put a lot of stock in the Bills' win last week against the Dolphins.
bit, but not
A little bit, not a lot. Listen, I still think the Bills. Listen, in 4 weeks from now, when we turn to the next quarter poll, we look at the NFL a completely different way. Sorry, maybe the Bills. Again, maybe there's an injury. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe the Dolphins reestablish themselves as the best team in the division. So there's a lot of things that can happen. But as of right now, it's for me, it's still the Chiefs, right? I mean, the Chiefs are still the cream of the AFC. You know, if anybody lines up against the Chiefs in Kansas City in January when it's 20 degrees and you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the field and a healthy Kelsey and whoever else they've got lined up, it's still the Chiefs.
Taylor Swift.
Buffalo Bills in Kansas City play in a neutral place right now. Pick'em game, no spread. You're taking the Chiefs.
I'm
over
taking the
Bills
Chiefs
right now.
9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. Because the Chiefs can come in and beat you in 3 different ways. And the Bills have to beat you with...
They're starting to run the ball now. They're not looking like
We'll
the same
see.
Bills.
We'll see. Again, 4 weeks from now, it's a
And
different
the
story.
Chiefs have the intangibles up in the skybox. They have the blonde
The
intangibles.
Swift
So
effect. I mean,
They have the best. I
know.
don't care about that bullshit. They have the best combination quarterback coach in the game, hands down.
sure.
Okay, and that gives them an advantage in every game they play.
I like the salty dismissal.
Yeah, I don't
of
care about
it's
that
like Taylor
nonsense.
Swift. Like,
I think we're all getting tired of it as football fans, to be quite honest with you.
I'm amused.
I don't care.
I'm amused because we all know that football fans are all what I see across the table from me right now.
Stay out of my yard.
Crusty.
Get out of here, you old
salt and
bastard.
pepper
Yeah,
beard,
whatever, that's fine.
Manly man.
Yeah, but we're the ones spending the money. Okay?
That Taylor Swift is just an annoying noise that your daughter makes when
All
she's
right. If the
in her room and
NFL
slams the door
is
on
that
you.
desperate that they want to get ratings from 17-year-old girls, please. All right,
That's money.
please. I'm over
And
it.
the demographic is much larger than
over
that. I'm
it.
not even-
18
I'm-
different
I'm-
times we got to see
Listen,
her in the
Yeah, it
booth.
was 17 times, bro. in
I
the
guessed.
box.
I guessed. I didn't even know. I
It was
guessed.
17
Stop.
times in the
I
box.
wanted the over. All right. So anyway, it's
I
ridiculous.
just love when they're uncomfortable. That's all. I just laugh so hard.
Messes me up bad. So all right. Anyway, back to the let's go to the junior circuit. Let's go to the NFC.
The junior circuit.
Right now, you got the 49ers, you got the Eagles, you got the Lions, who everybody was kind of high on this year. They're what 13-3 in their last 16 games.
Reasonably
My dark
so.
horse
Under
team, man.
Campbell. Maybe the two teams looking in, Dallas and Seattle, fair to say. I'm still high on Seattle. I think they're my dark horse to actually win it all. But 49ers, Eagles, Lions, Dallas, Seattle, and we have the NFC South. Who's coming out of that?
Ugh.
So far, the Bucks look
Buccaneers,
the best out of that
Baker,
whole lineup. Plus, they got a
Mayfield,
talent.
Baker.
Listen, though, the Saints got more talent than anybody out of all those teams on there. I think they're just like the Falcons. The Falcons
Dennis
are also
Allen
way more
sucks.
talented. Their quarterback play is going to really hurt
I
them.
thought
and hinder them.
that they would get more from Derek Carr to this point, and they haven't.
It's their head coach.
And they got
I keep
weapons
telling you,
everywhere.
Dennis Allen
Everywhere.
is terrible. When Dennis Allen is given any more responsibility other than defensive coordinator, he stinks the place up. Period. He stinks on ice. Look what he did with the Raiders. Yeah. The Raiders were a very talented team when he took over as head coach, and they just bombed hard. Why? Because he's got no real clue as to what's going on the offensive side of the ball.
Well,
he really doesn't.
It's not working.
No,
and
he
as
bad.
good as they are, I think you would see a better product, and you're not. But maybe, again, next 4 weeks, maybe things change for the Saints. Maybe they get things going in the right direction.
And what's the status for Evans' injury? What did he end up hurting last week? Because that's big. I mean, if the Bucks are missing him,
I heard a
I don't
hamstring
know.
type injury. I thought it was lower body. sort of
lower
thing.
body.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But that's something to look at. That's why we do Saturday show, because then we have all day today and tomorrow to get injury
Yeah,
reports.
see?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because the Bucks lose Evans, and that changes things a little bit. I mean,
49ers, anybody going to give this quarterback a little credit? I mean,
no, I have been. Why do
Brock
people not?
Purdy?
I mean,
what's
like,
going on?
What is
Yes.
going on with this Pate?
Nobody talks about this guy. I mean, they're starting to a little bit, but guys,
Because you have to. He's
I-
9-0 or 11-0 or whatever it is. It's
I
like-
look at anybody who questions Brock Purdy's legitimacy. I look at them and go, "Do you even football, bro?
I don't want to hear the
Do
excuse
you know what football is?"
about how it's the coach. Now, see again, this is the crutch is it's the coach, it's the team, it's the defense. Oh, no, it's not. It's Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is playing phenomenal football. The kid not only hasn't lost, like you said, I mean, in some big spots, but his passer rating is, I think, top 5. He has the second most touchdown passes over the span that he's been a starter out of any quarterback in football. Better than Patrick Mahomes.
And he makes
better
the right
than,
decision every
Josh
time.
Allen.
Every
Better than
time.
all these guys. Nobody's talking about Brock Purdy, okay?
And all you have to do is look at Lynch and Schottenheimer, or look at Lynch and Shanahan when Jimmy Garoppolo said, "Well, I think I'm going to go try the free agent work," and they were like, "Oh, please don't go, no, please."
And he has a
Don't
great
go.
football name.
Bye.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah, dude.
yeah, Brock.
Yeah,
He's
man.
a Brock.
Yeah. Brock Purdy's a pretty good football name. So
and he's got to have a roommate because he wants to live in San Francisco.
You can't afford
he can't
to.
afford to.
No,
At an
making-
$850,000 a year salary.
All those
he
memes.
can't afford the rent in the Castro.
Have you seen the meme where Al Michaels gets $1 million to do one Monday night football game? That's his contract is.
Wow.
And
sure, why
basically,
not?
Brock Purdy gets $800,000 to play quarterback. Yeah, but anyway, that'll change.
And he has to have an Uber driver for a
that'll
roommate.
change because I'm sure Brock Purdy now has an agent that he probably didn't have before, and he's waiting patiently. And at the end of this year, when whatever they do, which is probably going to go pretty
nightmare
far,
to have the quarterback,
Yeah.
starting quarterback for the San Francisco, one of the premier franchises in the history of the NFL, and the starting quarterback
is Mr. Irrelevant.
If the
Mr.
49ers,
Irrelevant and has to have a roommate to
Yeah.
live in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's insane.
the 49ers beat the Cowboys this week, I think that if you were a doubter of his, you have to come around now. I mean, you would have to come around.
Where is it? It's in San Francisco.
It is
game's
in,
at home.
yeah, it is at
It's
home.
going to be a beat down. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans, but you're just not.
He comes in here and
Guys.
throws 2 or 3 touchdowns and 250 yards, a typical Purdy game against that defense. I think that you have to stop the hate altogether. I mean, the kid would be 10-0 since
I
starting.
think that game is closer than we think. I do
It's
like
3.5
San
points,
Fran.
49ers. I kind of have the Cowboys covering the spread with the 49ers winning it
Yeah, I agree
barely,
with that,
but
too. I'll take the hook on that.
What's the
Yeah.
number on that? What's the line?
3.5.
3.5 49ers way.
Yeah, I'll take the hook on that one. I'll
The
take half
Cowboys are
point.
staking their entire franchise on this win right now. I mean, that everybody is talking about the 49ers, and the Cowboys have to come in here and handle business. They have to.
All right, so again, 49ers, they're maybe the cream of the NFC. The
think the
Eagles,
NFL.
the Eagles haven't really played great, but yet they're still the Eagles, and they're winning every game. The Lions are a little bit of the surprise, maybe not in terms of people thinking they were going to be good because they were good last year, at least second half. But man, that division is not very good as it is, and it looks like that they're going to definitely get into the playoffs this
The
year.
Lions are a good safety away from being a Super Bowl contender.
Maybe.
A good safety.
Yeah, maybe.
They're a contender.
Maybe.
Period.
And then Dallas and Seattle, the other two teams. So of those, and whoever's in the South. So basically of those 6 teams right now, if we're saying Chiefs in the AFC, at least I am, in the NFC, the de facto is the 49ers, right? That seems to be the easy pick at this point. 49ers Chiefs, Super Bowl.
Yeah, yawn.
I mean, it is now because it's predictable, but when it comes time and those two teams line up, would you rather see, the best 2 teams play? And I think
Sure.
at that point right now, as it stands, those are the best 2 teams in football.
Sure.
So quarterback coach. That's what
And I would have
the.
the 49ers winning that game right now.
Okay, good luck. I'm not going against the Chiefs.
Defense.
Chiefs defense is pretty good too.
Not that great.
Next week we'll talk about some defensive stats.
Okay.
Yeah, next week we'll
Definitely. That's
because
something.
if we're progressing towards that, we can build momentum statistically towards that, and we can fight each week about it because I'm on the Chiefs. I'm a guy that doesn't anoint a team a champion until they become a champion. And
Go ahead and crown them.
as much as we're, saying Brock Purdy is all this, he's all that, again,
We know who they are.
It just gets more difficult each week to be that guy.
If Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt in that playoff game last year, I think that is your Super Bowl champs.
Easily.
I think that is your
Yeah.
Super Bowl
Easily.
champs.
There's
As soon as he got hurt, I was like, that's it, man. Like, they
That
just
was
lost
the
their
fairy
Super
tale
Bowl,
right
because I
there.
think he just makes the right play every time. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's not going to ooh and ah you with these plays. He's just going to find the guy that's open every time. And
It's gonna be 3rd and 4, slant pattern to Debo for 14, first down, and the drive continues.
It's just move the chains, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't understand why people are not giving him more credit for simply being a really good game manager. Why does everybody have to be a gunslinger to get TV time? I don't get it.
Efficient ball control, multi-motion offense. Yeah, exactly. So believe it. Anything else you want to get to? I got to keep moving along. I got to keep them snapping here.
What do we
Let's
got?
go.
Basically, guys, let's kick some butt tomorrow.
Okay.
We're going to be posting some stuff on the page like we normally do.
Yep.
You have
Unfortunately,
a whole FanDuel team picked out already, or just Core 4?
no, I have a whole FanDuel team picked out. But we'd be remiss not to mention Andrew, who couldn't be here today because we moved our show to Saturday for today. We'll definitely make sure that he's got his picks posted on the page as well. because he's been lights out. I mean, that hasn't changed since week one. He's been really strong.
I mean, and in the future, we may revert to doing a Sunday show, but Saturdays, I think, give us our best bet, once again, to allow everybody to disseminate the information that we're presenting and allow them to use it more effectively on a Sunday and make adjustments. Let's say we pick a guy and he tweaks a hamstring in warm-ups. Okay, well, that gives you a chance at warm-ups to make a quick switch. Okay, but we still give you very pertinent information that you'll be able to use, and you'll be able to disseminate it through SoundCloud. Once again, go to SoundCloud, go to Spreaker. Those are for your audio, the audio uploads. Those will be available shortly after we're done here, because I go to work on them suckers right away. And of course, you can come back here to YouTube and watch at your leisure over the span of the next 12 hours. You're welcome.
I'm trying to get
I'm going to be having fun with my family tomorrow because it's my brother's birthday.
Nice.
You're 53.
Wow, that's old.
You're old.
That's old.
And shout out to Rob. I don't think he's watching. I think he's actually working right now. But shout out anyway because it's his birthday tomorrow. And then the following week, I am tentatively planning on going to see the Miami Dolphins versus the Carolina Panthers. You know, go to see Bryce Young and see what he thinks about getting beaten up by Jalen Phillips, who should be back by then, I hope. Any parting words, parting shots, shout outs? You want to give somebody the finger? Anybody? I mean, they're not going to be able to see the finger on the audio, but.
I don't know. I don't have any fingers to give.
Okay.
Just like that surgeon with only 3. I mean, they're important. So
good news for you is that,
hold on to my
you
fingers.
and your fixation with aliens. I have somebody, we may do a version of the Gonzo radio show, the regular Gonzo radio show here on the Gonzo Radio Sports, Gonzo Radio Network. And we may have Ed Cassis in here, who's also an alien aficionado. And actually, he follows the news a lot more than you do because you are dealing with football.
Has he ever been abducted?
No.
Okay.
No, but he has been accused of being an alien. He has several alter egos. Let's just put it that way. But we may be doing just an alien-based show with him. So that way you and Johnny and Andrew do not have to bail. What? Yes, I know you have something beautiful to contemplate. Is this your grandchild?
It is.
And your wife and your grandchild in a pumpkin patch?
Yep.
It looks cold there.
It's North Carolina. It's not too cold.
Burr.
My wife can wear a sweater if she was sitting on the sun.
I know.
So.
All right.
She's
So
no
on behalf of myself and Johnny Audubon and Matty DeMaz and Andrew, who is madder than hell that he can't have his picks on this week. Sorry. We'll get you next week, brother. I swear. Oh, no. Excuse me. 2 weeks from today. I think. I don't know. But we'll work on it.
We're doing a Thursday show.
Thursday at, 4 o'clock?
2:15.
2:15 a.m.? Exactly.
Definitely a.m.
All right. We will see you guys next week, either Saturday or Sunday, here on the Gonzo Radio Network. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.